Hi, I'm Colin Shantz with CopperTree Solutions, and today we're going to talk about virtual CIOs. One of the situations that many businesses find themselves in as they grow or as they mature is that technology tends to become increasingly important in their organization and the operations of their organization. A number of years ago, maybe if the system went down, it wasn't super critical, but now every part of the organization is dependent in some way on technology to do what they do. Many organizations turn to somebody like us, somebody like CopperTree, to find out how they can better leverage technology in those situations. Many organizations start out with a fairly reactive approach to technology. The focus tends to be largely on, when we have a problem, we will fix it, and less about how to make technology a strategic tool that can be leveraged to drive the organization forward. So there's not really a big picture strategy or a big picture plan in place. It's more about, hey, when you have an issue, call somebody and they'll come in and they'll fix the problem. Then they go away again until there's another problem. So CopperTree focuses on being proactive. So rather than dealing with problems after the fact, our focus is on preventing those issues from happening in the first place. For many organizations, IT can be a bit of an afterthought, and what that means for them is they typically don't have a good plan in place. Their approach is largely driven by maybe something breaking or some kind of business problem that they're having. So looking at leveraging a vCIO, one of the things we do is we come in and we understand the business, we understand how the organization functions, and we look for ways to drive the business forward by leveraging technology. Can we streamline a process, or can we improve communication? How can we use technology to move the business forward? Many business owners don't really have clear visibility into their technology and don't really have a good idea of what's available and what's possible within their infrastructure. So they're really left in the dark. If there's nobody laying out the business challenges and the business opportunities or the business risks, they tend to just kind of get left until something breaks, and at that point, they've got some cleanup that needs to happen. Ideally, when you're looking at what a business needs, you want to be working proactively and preventing the need for the reactive cleanup. CopperTree's vCIO ultimately takes charge of IT at our clients, particularly with smaller organizations where they have no internal IT. The vCIO is responsible for execution. They're responsible for understanding the business, and they're responsible for making sure that the infrastructure is there to support the business. And ultimately, they're taking ownership of IT. If there's a problem, if there's something that needs to be improved on, if there's some new piece of technology that you'd like to leverage within your organization, the vCIO is taking the lead and making sure that your needs are being met. Some people like to use the term one throat to choke, and that's really what we offer with our vCIO is somebody to be ultimately responsible for IT. Oftentimes, when you don't have somebody in that position, you might have a number of different vendors that you're working with. Maybe you're working with an ISP, or you're working with a copier vendor, or you're working with a line of business software vendor. And you tend to get in a situation where there's some ambiguity as to who's responsible for dealing with a problem. And the last thing you want is to have several vendors pointing fingers at each other. So the vCIO takes ownership of that, and whether it's something directly related to the infrastructure that CopperTree can solve, or whether it's something that we need to engage one of the outside vendors, maybe it's an ISP or someone like that, whether it's us or not, we still take full ownership of that issue, and we'll work with them to make sure that it gets resolved. One of the things to look for in a virtual CIO is someone that can understand both the business and the technology, and also somebody that can come in and have a peer-to-peer conversation with you as the owner or you as the IT manager, and really understand not just the how the bits and pieces work in the background, but also the business impact that each of these systems has. So it's important to, when you think about a vCIO, you want somebody that has executive business experience as well as hands-on technical experience and the knowledge to be able to bring the two together. At our quarterly vCIO meeting, one of the things we're looking at is the IT budget. What's coming down the pipe? What are we planning for as an organization? Is there any hardware that needs to be upgraded? Is there any software that needs to be relicensed? Maybe there's some new security tools that should be implemented. It's really about giving you visibility into what's happening. The last thing you want as an organization is to be surprised by a major upgrade. Somebody shows up one day and says, "Surprise! You need to upgrade your server system." So we're planning that out. We're looking ahead, typically 3 to 5 years, and we can get some pretty good schedules in place. You know that your physical servers are going to need to be upgraded typically every 4 years. If you move to the cloud, you get different life cycles. Really, the responsibility of the vCIO is to make sure that you have visibility and that you're ready when the time comes to make the investments that need to be made. At our quarterly vCIO meetings, one of the things we're doing is we're bringing recommendations to your attention, things that we feel you should be addressing. Maybe it's something that our technology alignment manager found when they were on site doing their maintenance, or maybe it's a new tool that we feel would be beneficial in your organization. We're really sitting on the same side of the table. We're looking for ways to drive your business forward. We're looking for ways to use technology in your company to be more efficient or to communicate better. And it's all about what would we do if we were in your seat, if we were, if we were the owner of your company, what kind of recommendations would we be making? It's not about selling things. It's not about, selling more hardware or some new system. It's all about looking at things that are beneficial to your organization and helping you to drive your business forward. Nobody likes surprises, and it's always important to know what's coming down the pipe from a technology perspective. So one of the things our vCIO does is doing a regular budget every quarter. When we're there doing our vCIO meetings, we're looking at any kind of recommendations that we have. We've got our budget that we're working off of, and we're typically doing a 3 to 5 year budget. So if there is a major infrastructure upgrade coming down the line, you'll see it coming, you'll have it in your budget, and you'll be ready to make the investment when the time comes. When we ask our clients what they want from technology, we almost always get the same answer, and it's pretty simple. We just want it to work. We just want to sleep at night knowing that our risks are managed, and we want to know that we have the right technology in place. So if you think about what does that really mean? Well, it means that you come in every day, you do what you do, and you don't have to deal with technology problems. And that's that's the biggest responsibility that our vCIO has in working with our clients, is finding ways to drive down noise in the infrastructure. How can we identify what those recurring issues are? How can we make sure that those issues don't come back? What can we do today to prevent issues from happening in the future? And there's a lot of different levers that we can pull, whether it be different technology, whether it be reconfiguring some existing technology, whether it be training users. It's really about looking for those trends and finding ways to put permanent solutions in place. With CopperTree's vCIO in place, one of the things that we're doing is we're managing your asset lifecycle management plan. We're making sure that your systems are constantly up to date, you're not falling behind, and that when you show up every morning, your systems are there and they're working and they're ready to facilitate the success of your organization. Thanks for joining us today as we talk about virtual CIOs. To learn more about our organization, visit us at our website at coppertreesolutions.ca.